Everybody and their mom wants a 3D printer until they realize one thing, that 3D printing is not a hobby, it's a job. That little design you have in your head or on a piece of paper is not going to magically transfer over to your printer when you click print. And that's when you realize printing is not the hard part, designing the print is. And now you're stuck with a $400 printer trying to explain to your wife why it's not printing paper. And that's why most people don't understand that 3D printing is rarely clicking print. There's way more levels to it. You gotta find your solution, you gotta design it, you gotta slice it, you gotta do all your settings, then you finally click print, and you miss one thing and you gotta do it all over again. I think most people when they buy a 3D printer, they have like this honeymoon phase where they just start printing anything they can find online that's already pre-made. And then the second that they actually need things that they don't know how to design, the printer just sits in a corner and collects dust. But what if we had a solution where we could remove all the design part and make printing more human-like? We take the robot out of 3D printing and we put more human into it, make it more intuitive. There actually is a solution. It's called a 3D print pen. For about $60 to $80, you can get the pen, the plastic, and anything else you need to get started. I linked this exact pen and a couple others that I think would be good in the description if you want to get one. This one comes with different colors, a charger, and some guides to make random parts. All the pen is pretty much a heated nozzle, well, ceramic nozzle instead of metal. But it's the same concept of a 3D printer, but instead of moving, you have it in your hand and you do the moving yourself. It's got 2 buttons for temperature control, 2 buttons for feed direction, and a small slider to change that speed of how fast the filament comes out or goes back in. There's also a little OLED display with your target temperature and where you're actually at. The goal is to have them be the same. I never actually got to use this thing, so the first thing to put it to the test was to take one of those paper pre-made designs and actually try to make one. And I'll be honest, it did not come out good at all. But I learned something real quick. When you take the robot out of the printer and you put more human into it, you make it a lot more a patience thing than a skill thing. I think after like one of those squares of actually trying to draw them nicely, I just lost patience and I just started going crazy towards the end. And that's a theme you'll see a lot in this video. The 3D print pen really relies on you being a good artist, which I'm not. That's why I do designs and I don't do drawing. And it wants you to be real patient while you take your time drawing all these things and making sure you don't mess them up, and then you gotta come and clean them back. It's another job. It's from one job to another job. After making all those little panels on that paper, I popped them off, and now it was time to glue them together to make the final design. Gluing them together was pretty easy. You just stick the nozzle in the corner, full heat, send it in, and it would just mold around the pieces as long as you hold them together. It's actually not too bad of a way to stick 3D prints together, which is why I added it to the list for the final video of this kind of series where we do all the different methods of connecting plastics together. The most important thing is kind of keeping your movement consistent and playing with that flow speed sensor to kind of get a nice flow going, and then just sticking to that as you go through the whole print. Put too much and it pulls up, put too little and you have gaps and spaces where you don't have filament. Kind of the same issues you have with a normal 3D printer, but this time it's your hands doing it instead of the printer, which is exactly what the point of using this 3D print pen is. For someone who might not be able to go into settings on a computer and start playing with things, if you tell them, hey, go slower or go faster, it's a lot more intuitive and a lot more easy for them. For me, it's not. That's why I use slicers. Also, I'm not about to print for 18 hours straight like I make my printers do. I wanted to try something out. Obviously, the print pen will not print as nice as the 3D printer, but I wanted to see how long it would take to print something with the pen instead of with the computer, if there was enough of a difference to make it worth. Most of the time, if I wanted to design something super simple, it's like 5 minutes of design, then I gotta get it to the computer, then I gotta slice it, then I gotta do all that, and then I gotta get it on the printer, and then print it off the printer. Let's say the whole process can take, if I'm like speed running it, 30 minutes. So I have 30 minutes to make this exact part that I need with a pen and see if it can even compete. I have like these little plastic cups, and I wanted something to be like a cup holder if I have a hot drink in it. Just an example of something I would need. If I was making it on the 3D printer, I'd have to take down designs and measurements and get all that stuff onto the computer and start designing. In this case, I just got straight into it. I just took that pen and started wrapping it around the cup and just making my rounds and making kind of my base. After doing that, I was able to make a handle add some supports on the side, make sure it's not too flimsy. And it took a couple rounds, but I just kept going. And then eventually I had my cup holder. I broke it off my cup and now I can use it on anything else. The truth is, it looks like garbage. And does it work well? Not really. I had to kind of come back and keep fixing it. Is this something I would use? Probably not for anything important. But I do like the ability to melt plastic and just put it in a little corner and stick things together. I don't think I'm going to start making full-size 3D prints with this pen, but it definitely has its place in my shop. Also, I think it can be real useful for kids instead of making them do all these crazy programs that college students struggle with. It's cool for learning, but there's no place in a professional shop for it. It kind of reminds me of the JB Weld of like automotive. You know, you're on the side of the road, you just cracked your engine open, you need something to patch it up so you can get home. You're going to use whatever works. This pen would kind of be the same thing. If I'm in the middle of nowhere, I don't have my printer, I need to make a little piece, or if I want just the specs of something. If I want to take the 3D print pen and just draw it on my phone and then take that piece off, and now I have the measurements in my hand and I can go home and reuse that piece to make something nice, that'd be super useful instead of actually drawing on paper. I could get like 3D drawings with the pen and then use that to make the actual nice part later on the printer. That would be super useful. I can't tell you the amount of times I was struggling to like measure a curve or whatever. If I was able to just take it off and put it on my desk and get the measuring tool in there, it would be way easier than trying to do it on the actual piece. So in situations like that, it's actually super useful. It's something quick, it's something cheap, but it's not that good. If you want something good, not as cheap, get yourself a 3D printer, get yourself the design programs and learn how to use it. But if you want something right now that will work, $50 pen is not so bad. Do you think it's something you would actually use? I'd love to hear from the people in the comments. And if you want one, check the links in the description. If you buy one, I get a kickback. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.